Hey guys, today we are building a double stall with a shed connected to it. First, I marked out the four corners exactly where I needed them. I used string line to make these marks exact, and then I squared it to make sure everything is perfect. Dug all the posts out, started cementing them in, and this is where we're at. We got all 6 posts in. This is the cement that I used right here. You just pour it in and add water. Make sure you use plenty of it. Next, I ran 2x6s for the top frame around the whole thing. We had to get 10 footers for the sides and 12 footers for the front and back. And make sure it's perfectly straight like this. Next, we ran the bottom framing. When we run all the framing for the top and bottom, you put a level from the first one, and you just keep the level going down as you go to keep it perfect all the way through. We also added the framing here to start the shed. There's going to be a lot more beams going through it. We had little brackets that you use to hold the 2x4s in place. Then we started putting all the T111 panels up. You can either cut them before or you can cut them after. If you cut them after, you're probably getting a lot of sawdust on it. Don't forget to run the 2x4s where every sheet is going to end. So every 4 feet you have to run a 2x4 so it has something to screw into. We finished all the beams on the bottom here. We added more 4x4 supports and we put the floor on it. It's all pressure treated wood on the floor here. We used 3/4 inch plywood for that. It's starting to look like something now. We got all the siding up. We got some trim up on the shed here. We got all the 2x4s inside, run every 2 foot. You do not need to use pressure treated wood inside the shed. And we use those little brackets again to hold all the wood up. We added 45-degree supports on all the top beams just to give it a lot more support for the roof. The door is done, it's hung, it's painted, it's got the hinges on it, no lock yet. I started spraying most of this. I ran out of paint. This was 3 gallons, and actually we used stain, so it soaks in better, it lasts longer. This is where I ran out, so I gotta get another gallon probably. Alright, I got a 4x4 set on both sides. They're cemented in, half a bag on each one. I got the rails here. The gap is 4.25 inches between each one. That's going to be important when installing them. We've got the front rails on also. All this is pressure treated. Those are the gates that we'll be putting on here. We've got the lock on the front now. We added another support under the front of the shed you can also see. We got all the roof beams run. I have a 2x6 by 10 going across the center of each, and then a 2x4 every 2 feet going the opposite direction, so there's plenty of support for the roof and plenty of places for the screws to grab. Make sure you use the correct screws that have the rubber washer on them. Almost got this roof done. I was short one panel, so I have to go back to Home Depot. Got the gates hung. This thing is practically done. We're also going to add wood around the dirt, 2x6s, pressure treated in the ground, just to keep the dirt in without it coming out and getting lost over time, washing out or whatever. We added 4 yards of number 1 fill in here. That was the dirt we used. Well, here it is. This is the final product. The 30 by 10 shed with 2 stalls. We put 2 vents on here for cross ventilation, one on the side and one on the back. You can see the boards all the way around it also to keep the dirt in. Everything's painted. I think it came out beautiful. What do you guys think? If you like what you see, subscribe for more.